präsentiert von Audience on Demand aus dem Hause VivaKey. Mehr auf audienceondemand.de.
Hi, I am Ronan Shields. I'm the editor of ExchangeWire. I'm joined today by Jeff Green. You are the CEO of TheTradeDesk. You were just on a panel. Maybe you could just talk a little bit about TheTradeDesk and what you guys do to begin with.
Sure. The TradeDesk is a DSP, which means we're a demand side platform. Unlike some other companies that call themselves a DSP, we're truly a technology platform that is just focused on being the tech, and we are just focused on being on the buy side. We're also multi-channel, so it's not just a display, which often DSPs are sort of bucketed into display. We're display, mobile, social, video, all of it, which we think it all needs to be a part of a unified platform. And we're also global, so we help we help by providing technology primarily to agencies, but also to ad networks and other aggregators. So we power 300 or 400 agencies today.
Like I said, you just mentioned that you were part of the panel, and last click attribution, you quite rightly mentioned how we're going through a multifaceted journey online. And I think you said on stage there that we can't get any worse with last click, which is probably true. So maybe you could just go on and explain a little bit further about what you think has to happen for us to evolve as an industry.
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to my football analogy where if we only pay our players for goals, then they're all just going to play football like 6-year-olds where they just hover around the ball and everybody's fighting to score the goal because you get no credit or points for being a goalie, or to bring it back to marketing, you get no credit for being up funnel. So given that in the history of marketing and the history of advertising, most of the dollars and focus has been spent at the top of the funnel. How do I create awareness about my product and not fighting over credit at the bottom of the funnel? We have to figure out ways to give credit up funnel, and last click and last view is pretty much the worst way to do that. So if we can start to think of things like, for instance, okay, I'm going to give some credit to last click, but given that clicks don't influence conversions that much, last view is probably a better way to run all my campaigns that are other than search. And then additionally, like what if somebody just touches a conversion? So they're not the last one, but they just touch it. How does that affect the probability of them ultimately affecting a conversion? And what is the probability of affecting the right outcome? If we start measuring that in a better way, then I think that that we'll quickly come up with credit for touching conversions, and we start giving credit essentially for assists, back to my football analogy. So sure, it's a start.
Great. Well, you also mentioned the war of the identifiers, what with Google's identifier, Facebook's identifiers, etc., etc. How do you think that's going to weigh out? Who's best placed to standardize everything, and then the industry can evolve as an industry together, have a more federated approach?
Yeah, so I don't think that we will standardize for a long time, because there are so many different ways to do this that I think we're a long ways away from standardizing. But I do think that there are a whole bunch of companies that are going to try, and I think that Google and Facebook will create their own standards. And they essentially become, if you will, the gold standard or the company to beat, where everybody else has to work together in order to even compete, because it's so much easier for them to get user identification than the rest of us. But it's really important to note, and I know there are a lot of people that are worried. I don't think there's reason to be worried by that, because I do think that long term, there are millions of other websites that all identify users. They all have a vested interest, a very vested interest in monetization of their own sites. And as long as the sum of the non-Googles, the non-Facebooks is greater than any one of those than any one company, then there will always be an opportunity for the group to sort of work together, if you will. But I do think that user identification has to be done in a federated way and not in a centralized way.
Great. Well, Jeff, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me today. I will let you go on and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.